Hey yo, what's good? It's your boy Mixtape Moth, and today I'm gonna hit y'all with a review of the new DJ Muggs and CRIMEAPPLE album entitled Cartagena. Let's get to it. Alright, so CRIMEAPPLE is a slick talking MC of Colombian descent, hailing from Hackensack, New Jersey. He has been dropping projects since the late 2010s. Now, the first release that I actually heard from CRIMEAPPLE was his Modelo collaboration with DJ Muggs back in 2019. The album was pretty well received, as it was evident back then that the two had strong chemistry. CRIMEAPPLE would go on to release 6 additional projects since that Muggs release, but I only recall hearing 2 of them within that time frame, to be honest. But for his brand new project, Cartagena, CRIMEAPPLE decided to reconnect with the legendary DJ Muggs. Now, both this new offering and the Modelo project were recorded in Colombia, so I suppose it doesn't get any more authentic or gangsta than that. This project clocks in at the 41.5-minute mark and consists of 13 tracks, all produced by the venerable DJ Muggs. Now, as far as features, CRIMEAPPLE kept them to a minimum, only bringing in Stove God Cooks and RLX. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with this track-by-track breakdown. The opener, Gray Skies, can be looked at as a come-up anthem. Here, CRIMEAPPLE talks about going from nothing to something over a dreamy drumless loop. He reflects back to his days of rocking the Wolverine boots and getting laughed at by his peers to now rocking with the Soul Assassins. But all of this was made possible due to CRIMEAPPLE's persistence, patience, and dedication, in addition to having support from his closest homies. I feel this Muggs instrumental was solid enough, but I like this one more for the sentiment and CRIMEAPPLE's bar work. Track 2, Bathtubs Full of Vouv, picks up the tempo with more of a glamorous and playful boom bap beat. On this one, CRIMEAPPLE flexes his lyrical dexterity while dropping some braggadocio like, "You drop some bullshit, but got a hand in your pocket. In a weekend, I'm burning through your Vans on Collins." It's a fun and lighthearted record where CRIMEAPPLE presents himself as this larger-than-life star. The following, Tony Tusi, has a moodier soundscape, which comes across as a modern twist to some of Muggs' production from back in 95 and 96. It's actually one of my favorite instrumentals on the project. Over this stellar mid-tempo production, CRIMEAPPLE demonstrates just how well he can rap. I found his flow and razor-sharp wordplay to be pretty impressive. CRIMEAPPLE spits some carefree lines like, "I'm watching the world burn while the flowers blossom. Quarantining, I was playing possum, probably laid up with a Natasha." Right after is the elegant Mermaids featuring Stove God Cooks. So the two are backed by a classy and shimmering piano loop. The drum presence is pretty much non-existent though. CRIMEAPPLE really comes through with some quote-worthy bars like, "I made the butter, go and gave them nothing but samples," when Jada was weighing dope on that shit that weighed Shamu. And that was obviously a clever nod to Jada's classic Coke bar from We Gon' Make It about him having to use the scale that they used to weigh the whale with. But it was Stove God who ended up being the star of the track with his infectious hook game and the charismatic presence that he brings to records. As he raps, "Swear these dudes gotta have Stockholm, how you getting raped for years and you still not gone?" The following record, Papas, has a hypnotic boom bap aesthetic. The bells sound like they could have easily fit on Griselda's WWCD. Here, CRIMEAPPLE was just rapping his ass off, showing us why he is one of the nicest new school MCs to emerge out of New Jersey. The subsequent track, Cheap Work, contains the first eerie and truly gutter beat on the project. The instrumental is minimalist, but also grungy. CRIMEAPPLE delivers some standout lines like, "I spilled Prego, make your toupee nasal, came from the same state as Hussein Fatal." So that's a shout out to the late Hussein Fatal of the Outlaws, who was the most lyrically inclined member of the crew next to Pac, who also hailed from the Garden State. Track 7, Designer Label, finds CRIMEAPPLE dropping more lyrical wit over a definitive Soul Assassins beat. This one has all the ingredients to make up a great Muggs instrumental. More examples of stellar wordplay can be found on the following. Fuck a rollie, I might cop a ranch somewhere out in Muskogee, somewhere low-key, where everyone who think that they know me won't be. Bitch, I'm a dip like formaldehyde stogies. We then go back into drumless loop territory on the following track, Reputation. Here, CRIMEAPPLE raps over a celebratory horn and piano loop that feels somewhat 70s lounge-esque. But the hook samples from SOS Band's Reputation. It's not like this one hasn't been used a lot before, but I tend to like when this sample appears on songs. It just has a fun and feel-good vibe. Track 9, Some More Paper, has a neck snapping beat from Muggs with these dense drums and droning organ samples. This record might contain some of CRIMEAPPLE's most noteworthy bars on the album. He breaks away from the slick talk briefly to send some shots at Trump with, in 2020, all I really see is 3 6s and police killings, an orange pedophile on TV tripping. It was the only drop of social commentary that we got, but it was sharp. Immediately after is the highlight Kleenex. This has a psychedelic guitar beat that sounds fitting for any album associated with artists like Griselda, Rock Marciano, or The Alchemist, but yet it's still so signature Muggs. I found this record to be interesting because it finds CRIMEAPPLE going back and forth between moments of serious introspection and a bit of blasphemous braggadocio. Like when he thanks God for surviving a near fatal car crash in 2003, only to follow that up with the notion that God will somehow need a box of Kleenexes on the day that he dies. I did enjoy the brief moments of self-reflection when he wasn't elevating himself up to godlike levels. Track 11, Swish, has this electronic trap meets rock instrumental. Now, this is another record packed with fly, witty bars and backed by a dope-ass beat from Muggs. So I would have this as one of the standouts due to the bouncy vibe and flows alone. The second to last track is Pelogrossimo. It's a record where CRIMEAPPLE seamlessly weaves in and out of Spanish and English raps. The video that accompanies this is a must-see, as CRIMEAPPLE and DJ Muggs are posted in the back streets of Cartagena, or maybe it's Medellin. I like this one not only due to the spooky Muggs production, but also because it shows CRIMEAPPLE's affinity for his Colombian heritage, and it adds to the already firm layer of authenticity throughout this project. Then the album wraps up with the clever but odd fly shit, and I feel this instrumental is either a mark of creative genius or one of the most annoying beats recorded. The buzzing fly sound is pretty ingratiating, but it ends up fitting into the context of the idea of CRIMEAPPLE dropping some fly shit. I can only imagine how high both CRIMEAPPLE and Muggs were in the studio to come up with the idea of the fly. This features a solid performance from RLX, who manages to sound like Havoc from Mobb Deep on every one of his verses. Overall, I give this project a rating of a strong 3.5 to 4 mics. It appears that Muggs and CRIMEAPPLE are now 2 for 2 with these collaborative efforts. From a production standpoint, the Muggs beats weren't as dark as anticipated. Rather, they were a bit brighter and more colorful, thus complementing CRIMEAPPLE's more humorous persona as an MC. Sure, there were still elements of grittiness and street themes to be found, but CRIMEAPPLE infuses enough humor and boastfulness to avoid completely being looked at as a serious villain. As a whole, the man's got a great flow, crisp wordplay, and consistent verses on deck. The only thing that I wish he could have done more on this project was stay on topic. Therefore, I wouldn't mind it a storytelling track or a concept record or two. But if you prefer songs with straight up spitting and insane wordplay over eclectic Muggs instrumentals, then this project will be right up your alley. My favorite tracks include Tony Tusi, Mermaids, Papa's, Reputation, Some More Paper, Kleenex, and Swish. Let me know what you thought about this album in the comment section below. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but be sure to hit that like button and please subscribe. As always, it's peace and blessings. CRIMEAPPLE, DJ Muggs, Cartagena, 1.